This afternoon we have a special guest speaker, Dr. Gabriel Garcia. He's an assistant professor of public health at the University of Alaska Anchorage. Dr. Garcia was born in the Philippines but homegrown here in Alaska. He has a PhD and did his dissertation research at the University of California, Los Angeles, and his research was titled "To Smoke or Not to Smoke: Understanding Smoking and Non-Smoking Behaviors Among Filipinos." Dr. Garcia has been doing research on smoking behavior for over 5 years, and he has 3 recent publications on smoking, and he's working on a few more this year, and as we receive those links and as they go to print, we'll share those. In addition to his smoking research, his other research interests include media and communication, health and health risk behaviors, and health disparities. So we are really excited to have a homegrown Alaskan researcher here sharing some of his information with us today. So thank you very much, everyone, for taking the time to be here this afternoon. And with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Garcia.
Hello, everyone. Hopefully you have already received the PDF copy of my presentations. So just follow through with me. As you can see, the first slide there, I have Arturo Toscanini, and he's a famous conductor, composer, but you don't really have to know him. What's important is what he said. He said, "I kissed my first girl and smoked my first cigarette on the same day, and I haven't had time for tobacco since." So that's basically the nature of my presentation today, and I'm talking about smoking and relationships. So let me go ahead and get started. As many of you know, 25% of adult Alaskans smokes. 40% of the adult Alaskans smoke are in the rural areas. 37% of adult Alaskans with low socioeconomic status smokes, and we spend $329 million here in the state due to smoking. Alright, so why do people choose to smoke or not to smoke? That's what I have been studying in my dissertation and throughout my career as a researcher in the tobacco prevention and cessation. Smoking is not like eating chocolates or ice cream, because when you first try smoking cigarettes, you cough, you feel dizzy, you feel sick. So, despite of all of this, nasty things that cigarette does to us, we know that there's a third of the male adult global population smokes, and 80,000 to 100,000 of children worldwide start smoking every day. And every minute we sell 10 million cigarettes worldwide. So that's a lot of cigarettes being smoked. So, why do people choose to smoke or not to smoke? Well, in my research in the Philippines, there's actually 2 pathways why people smoke. One, because of curiosity. They're curious because they see everybody else smoke and they think, oh wow, it seems so, maybe smoking cigarettes tastes good. But the other pathway, and what I found to be the most important pathway, is because we are motivated by our social relationships. Humans are social beings, and there is a saying, no man is an island, and so we are very social people. A lot of the things that we do are related to our relationships. And what I found in my research is that most people choose to initiate smoking or quit smoking to create or sustain important relationships in their lives, be it their family, their spouse, their girlfriends or boyfriends, or even their peer groups. Okay. Now I'm on that slide that's labeled or titled Types of Relationships. There are 4 different ways we could qualify or categorize relationships. And this is according to a theory by Alan Fisk called Relational Models Theory. Now, Alan Fisk is actually one of my advisors when I was doing my dissertation. And after I do this research, you'll look at relationships differently now. Basically what Fisk said was there's four different types of relationships. One is communal sharing, the second is authority ranking, the third is equality matching, and the fourth is market pricing. So I will go over each of those real briefly. So the next slide that I have is entitled communal sharing. Now, communal sharing is defined by Fisk as relationship based on the perception that a set of persons have something in common, something that makes them socially equivalent in some respects. For example, blood kinship, our mothers, our fathers, our peer group. We have a communal or something in common with our peers, whether it's the activities that we do or shared interest. Other types of communal sharing is religious affiliation. So, for example, I'm Catholic. I have some Catholic friends, and so that's sort of a communal sharing type of relationship. So, how do we connect communal sharing with a smoking relationship? Well, an example of communal sharing where smoking is part of it would be, being in a peer group where smoking is part of a ritual. If everybody else smokes in a peer group during the time when they hang out together, then that becomes part of the communal sharing type of relationship. Smoking will become part of that communal sharing type of relationship. The next slide that I have is authority ranking. And Fisk defines authority ranking as relationship based on social ranking in which there are superiors and subordinates. So, for example, in our workplace, we have our bosses, and sometimes we are the subordinates. And we can apply the authority ranking in terms of understanding how smoking develops by looking at, for example, some people start smoking when they see that their parents or their role models smoke. If they see them smoking, they feel like, oh, I gotta smoke too because it looks pretty cool when they smoke. Sometimes people smoke because they see a famous actor or famous personality smoking on television or in movies or in different advertisements, and so that becomes a motivation for them to smoke. So that's considered an authority ranking type of relationship that leads to smoking. The third type of relationship, and the slide is entitled equality matching, is a relationship based on keeping track or maintaining an even balance. So, for example, turn taking, lottery or coin flip, eye for an eye, balanced in-kind reciprocity, tit for tat. So, an example of where smoking is initiated is when there are a couple, for example, one is a smoker and the other is not a smoker, and the non-smoker sees his or her best friend smoke, and to be equal, to be quote-unquote equal to his or her best friend, he also smokes. So that's an example of how smoking is begun with the equality matching type of relationship. Now the last relational type is called market pricing, and Fisk defines this as relationship based on interactions with reference to ratios or rates. And usually, ratios or rates are a common medium of those types of measure is dollars and cents. When people smoke because of the cost or dollars involved, that's considered market pricing. So some people, for example, smoke because they feel that they could afford to smoke because it's not too expensive. That's the case in the Philippines where cigarettes are pretty cheap. So people smoke because it's very accessible to them in terms of the cost.